The things that you're saying are not just words that you're saying to put into your mind. They're statements that you're going to use in your daily life. And my name is Tom Soul, and you are listening to the Social Seed Podcast. Right away, you need to pat yourself on the back for listening to something on social media that will help your life. And we're going to talk about today's title, or today's episode, Affirmations. Evolve your mind and change your life. And we'll start off with a quote by Willie Nelson. Quote, "Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you start having positive results." End quote. And our whole life, we have been doing affirmations in our mind. We probably just don't know it. You might recall you saying that I'm good at playing baseball. I'm good at that sport. I'm good at running. I'm fast. I'm slow. Well, I guess I'm slow is a negative one. So we'll go into the negative ones. I can't do that. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not good in public places. I'm an introvert. Or I guess back to the positive, I'm an extrovert. So we've been doing this to ourselves, saying these little things in our minds out loud, reaffirming what we are and are not. Or other people have been doing it for us as well. So the more positive thoughts we get in our mind, the more positive results that we're going to have. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using our minds to create positive thoughts to change our lives. And we're going to do that through affirmations. And I'm going to be going over what an affirmation is, how do they work, what can they do, how do you use them, and implementing them in your daily life. And if you're like me, when I first started making my affirmation, it felt a little weird. I said these things that I know I wanted to make changes, but I didn't feel like they were completely true at the time. And that's okay. It's going to feel a little weird when you first start saying these. You're going to be like, what am I doing? It's okay. Just keep going, because you're going to have chances to prove these statements true. And that's what you're going to learn to do. And that's why they're going to work at the end of this. So we're going to start off with what an affirmation is. And it's just a positive statement that you repeat to yourself to help you think and feel more positively. And that's basically as simple as it is. And then we're going to talk about what can affirmations do for you. Basically, they're going to help you build self-confidence and self-awareness. You're going to figure out the things in your life that you want to change. You're going to figure out ways to make them better, or the reasons why they are true. And now we're going to do the most important part of the whole episode today. Well, maybe not the most important part, but the very basic part of it that you need to get correct so that your affirmation changes your life. And those are going to be three things. We're going to be reflecting on the things in our life that we want to change. We're going to be defining what they are and the change we want to make. And then we're going to create a statement that kind of connects the two. So when you reflect on your life, you're going to want to change the things that you may see that you want to improve. Like for me, my example is, I wanted to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to be smart, strong, and confident. And I want to make a podcast to help my listeners' lives. So I had to think, and I want to make money so I can support myself by doing this podcast. So I thought about, how can I put all those together into a affirmation that I could use to improve my life? So after I reflected and I found that those were the goals and values that I wanted to achieve, I started defining those goals. I started saying, how can I become happy? How can I become healthy? How can I become smart? How can I become strong? How can I be confident? And how can I make a podcast that's famous, that helps my listeners' lives? And this is what I came up with. And I changed it this week because of learning more about affirmations. So this is part of becoming smarter. But I am happy because I get to travel the world with my family. and live my daily life with them and have plenty of experiences. I am healthy because I choose to eat foods that are good for my body, that nourish me. I am smart because I learn. I read books. I learn because I listen to people. I want to become smarter. And I am stronger because I exercise on a daily basis. I do jujitsu, and I try to do things that are physical so that, and I'm not lazy. Whenever I feel the lazy bone happen in me, I get up and do something because I don't want to be that person. And I am confident because I know that I can do this. And whenever I find myself not doing the right thing, I get up and do what I believe to be right so that every little experience I have makes me more confident. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these statements, the statements that we just created, and we're going to put them into sort of a rhythm. Like when I say mine, it was kind of weird at first because it was hard to like get to the point of like where they kind of flow in your mind when you say them, because that way it feels almost like a song. And you know how we listen to songs, we can remember the whole song. And when it gets to something like that, if something doesn't work, you're going to figure out a way to change it so it does kind of blend in and flow. So that's what I did. I worked around, evolved my affirmation, and I made it to something that is like a comfortable thing that I say to myself every morning. And that's how I used it. I used them in my morning routine every morning. And then sometimes, if I remember, I use them at night when I go to bed. Because by doing this, you're sticking these statements into your subconscious so that you're going to have plenty of chances to use them in your daily actions. And that's the most important part, is that the things that you're saying are not just words that you're saying to put into your mind or into your subconscious. They're words that and statements that you're going to use in your daily life. Like when I have a chance to be happy, when I see my kids playing volleyball yesterday and watch them do better, then that makes me happy, right? I know that they're learning, that we're doing a good job, that they're out there interacting with other kids, having a good time. And when you're doing a good job was when they don't want to leave, right? That you've met good people that your kids get along with, that they're having fun with. Like that makes me happy. Doing these daily things that I'm glad my wife organizes so that we can do them, because a lot of times I'd be like, I don't really want to do that. But then she's like, we're going to go do this because, we're going to meet that family. And then I find that every time that I get up and do that, I have a great time, even though we had to walk the whole way, like 3 miles yesterday to the restaurant because we couldn't catch a cab. And we're in Bocas del Toro. But that exercise actually made me feel good too. It was really nice. We got to see the scenery. So there's actually a positive in every negative. And so not only that, I want to be healthy. So every time when it comes a meal, or when someone's like, do you want a slice of cake? Like, yeah, I want a slice of cake, but I don't want to keep having cake and eating it, even though it tastes good, because it sticks in my mind that I want to be healthy. So it's like a little thought that says, you shouldn't eat that, because it's probably not going to be the best for you. And that doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. But eating healthy is something that I want to do for my life, because I think about people I know that are older who take lots of pills that doctors have given them to help their health defects. And I want to be healthy so that I don't have to take a lot of pills when I get older, because I know one thing, going to see the doctor is expensive. I know two, I don't want to swallow a bunch of pills, especially when I think that if I diet and exercise, that I shouldn't have to take those pills unless something genetically goes wrong with me. And I'm trying to prevent that. And I want to be smart. To be smart, I think about everything during the day. Whenever something comes up where I don't know it, I could, like in a book, if I'm reading, I could just pass by that word, or I could look up that word, right? What's it going to hurt for me to look up a word and understand the definition and its usage? And if I do this every time with all these words that I read that I don't know over and over again, eventually some of them start to stick. And then once they stick, I start to use them. And then I increase my vocabulary. And it makes me feel smarter because I know more about the world. I know more about vocabulary. So when I'm having a conversation with someone, if they say a word that may have been foreign to me before, now I know it so I can understand their meaning. So I wanted to become smarter, and that's what I did. I started every time I figure out a word or see a word that I don't know or anything that I don't know, I want to learn more about it. And I want to be strong. So every time during my day, whenever I'm feeling lazy or I want to be stronger, I figure out a way that I can use that. Like when I'm say, I'm a sailor, so I pull a lot of lines. So I like to use my core when I'm pulling those lines, so I can actually feel the muscles really working. And not only does it, do I get stronger, it's like a little mental boost because when you feel strong and you start to look, your physique gets a little more defined. You feel good. It's a positive. I don't know if there's dopamine in there, but I'm sure there is, and it just makes you feel good. And that I know that makes me feel good. And I said feel good 100 times just now, but it must make me feel good. So I like to do it. I like to be strong. So that's why I exercise a lot. That's why I do jiu-jitsu. And I want to be confident. And because confidence shows in your appearance, it shows in your walk, it shows in everything about you. And being confident kind of it's like an aura around you. And it takes a while to be confident. You can, especially if you're in like a social situation or you're doing like a speech or you're on the internet like I am right now, it takes a lot to be able to sit here and talk to people and say what's on your mind. And every time I get the chance to be confident, that I remember if I get a use during the daytime, I do that. Like if I'm talking to someone, if I have a question, to stand up and ask that question takes confidence, right? You got to know that I'm going to do something that's probably on everyone else's mind, but I definitely want to know it. And if no one's going to ask the question, then I'm going to ask the question because I want to learn. I want to be smarter. And that takes confidence. So whenever that opportunity arises, you need to take it. So that's what we do during the daytime when we have all these chances, when we're having those experiences with our kids or even just any event we're at, see the good in it, to be happy. Whenever you have a chance, when you're eating, you have a chance to eat healthy, you have a choice. Whenever you want to be smarter and you're looking at something, you can just pass it by, but you actually stop in and you stop and you take the time to learn that so that you become smarter. And when you lift things and do physical work instead of being lazy, sitting on the couch or not wanting to do things because it's a lazy weekend, you get up and you do things, you get stronger. And when you get a chance to be confident, you become confident. And, these are mine. These are the affirmations that and core values and things that I thought of for myself. And what you do is you reflect on yourself and you find out what your core values are and the things that you want to change. And that's what you're going to make your positive statements from. And you create them. And then you evolve them into how you want to say them. And then you put them into like a pattern so that they all kind of flow together. And then on a daily basis, you use those statements. And once you start using those statements, now you don't feel so weird anymore because you start to believe these statements are true, because they are true, because you're proving them to be true. And that's how affirmations work. By reflecting on your life, creating positive statements for the change that you want to make, saying them during your morning routine, implementing them in your daily actions, and then repeating. And once you do this over and over again, like anything that you do over and over again, you get better at. And eventually, it just becomes you. All those changes that you said that you didn't believe, now you do believe because you do them. You have become happy. You have become healthy. You have become smart. You are strong. You are confident. And it's a good feeling. So I'm going to end it there, but I'm going to go over Willie Nelson's quote one more time, just so we can really impacted in. Quote, once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you start having positive results, end quote. So reflect on your life, define your goals, create your positive statements, and then start saying them in your morning routine. Start implementing them in your daily actions and make them true. All right. If you like today's episode, hit the like button. If you don't want to miss these future episodes, hit the subscribe button. And you can catch me on the Social Seed Podcast Facebook page or the socialseedpodcast.com. All right. Thank you for listening today. See you next Sunday. Have a great week.